Hello guys, welcome. This time we will learn how to create AWS Lambda function using SAM or Serverless Application Model and AWS CLI, also with AWS API Gateway. First thing to do, we will log in to our AWS console. I'm logging here. And at the console home, I will choose IAM, or you can search it in the search bar right here. You can type IAM, click on it, I will explain how we need to do this. We will create our IAM user to be used on AWS CLI later, and also with AWS SAM. I will show you later in this video. Okay, and then we go to users. There's a button add users, click on it, and then type the username, maybe something like AWS Lambda user. And if you check on this, provide user access to the AWS management console, the user will provide it with the capability to access the AWS management console, but we don't need it. We need the user to access AWS from the CLI. Okay, so we'll leave it blank and click next, and then in permission options we choose add user to group. We will add this user to the admin group. Okay, choose admin and click next, review and create. Okay, you can add text right here if you want, maybe something like the purpose of this account, purpose to access AWS resources from AWS CLI, something like this, and then click create user. Okay, and then if you look at the user list, you will find the new user that we have created before. Click on it. We give the user to administrator access. Now from this tab, choose security credentials, and then go to the access key and click create access key. Okay, choose the command line interface, and click on this and click next, and just leave the tag here empty, create access key. Now you have the access key. Okay, you can copy this access key and the secret access key, or you can download the CSV file right here. I will download the CSV file because when we show this will show just one time. Okay, click download.csv file. Now I have downloaded my AWS Lambda user credentials. I click done. Okay, and then now for the next steps, we need to install AWS SAM and AWS CLI. You can Google how to install this two things. AWS SAM install. Go to the AWS documentation and then choose the operating system that you have. In my case, it in Windows. Download the file and install it, and then follow the instruction. Okay, and after you install the AWS SAM CLI, you need to install the AWS CLI application too. Just Google it one more time. There's a typo here. Go to the documentation of AWS and one more time select the operating system that you have and follow the instruction. Okay, after that you can verify if you have installed the SAM CLI and AWS CLI correctly. Open the command prompt and then type SAM main version. Okay, if the SAM CLI installed correctly, it will output or print the version of the CLI, and then type AWS main version. It will output the AWS CLI version with Python and Windows version on it. Okay, if you have the output something like this, then you have correctly installed the SAM CLI and AWS CLI. We will proceed to the next step. We will configure our AWS CLI. You type the command AWS configure, and then it will tells you to type the AWS access key ID. This key ID you get from the creation of the IAM role, IAM users that we have created before. We have already downloaded the CSV file. Just open that CSV file and then you will see your access key and secret access key that's separated with comma right here. Okay, just copy that access key, paste it, and then press enter. I have already used my access key ID, so I'll just skip it, and then enter the access key. Okay, and paste your access key and then press enter. Enter your default region name. I choose the AP Southeast 3 Jakarta as my default region name. Maybe you want to choose something else. Okay, by the way, if you want to look the region name, you can go to your console and click on this menu on header, and then you can see all the available region. I'm using this region. Type on this AWS configure default region name and then press enter. Default output format, if you leave it empty, then it will use JSON as the default, and then you're done. Okay, now we will create our first project using AWS Lambda. I open this PowerShell right here. You can use any terminal application that you like. Okay, and then go to the directory that you want your project to be. Okay, so I cd to my directory, and then in this directory I will type SAM init. This will initialize the serverless application project in this directory. Okay, press enter. Now it will ask you which template source would you like to use. I will choose one, AWS Quick Start templates, because I don't have the custom template right now. Okay, choose one, and then choose an AWS Quick Start application template. We will use the Hello World example. So type 1. Use the most popular runtime and package type. No, we don't use Python here. And then choose the runtime would you like to use. I will use number 9, Java 11. What package type would you like to use? We will use zip package type right here, right now. Okay, so type 1. Which dependency manager would you like to use? I will choose 2, Maven. Would you like to enable X-ray tracing on the function in your application? So X-ray tracing is used to analyze your bottleneck of your application. In this simple example, I think we don't need to use this right now. So please choose no. Would you like to enable monitoring using CloudWatch application inside? Just no for this time. Okay, now we will type our project name. I will give this project name as user details app. It will cloning from the GitHub repository. It will take a moment. I will back to you after this clone process finish. Okay, now the process of cloning the templates is finished. Then we will go to the directory that we create this project, and you will see that there's a new directory that the SAM init created for you, and then we will look at the hello world function directory, open it, and it will contains of the Maven project of our Lambda function. Now we need, because we created this project using the hello world template, so it will name with hello world function, and we will replace or rename this function. I will rename it with user details app function. Okay, and then we'll open my IDE, choose open, and then choose we'll go to the directory that I have used as a project directory before. I will go to my backup. Choose the directory that have the pom.xml file. Click OK. Trust project, and open project in this window. Okay, now we will look at this project folder, and then there's a class that created by SAM init for us. This class will handle the requests from our user. So this is the main function that will handle your request. I mean the request from the user. Okay, so what we will do now, we will refactor this package name. Choose all directories, and we'll type something like refactor it, and then I will refactor my class name too to be user details okay, and okay again. Okay, now we have our project folder, our package, and our class name refactor, and we use the name of our project user details. Okay, now we open the pom.xml file. Now we will rename the group ID, so and artifact ID. Okay, I will change the group ID to use the same value with my package name. So change it to com.echo.user details, and then the artifact ID I will replace it with user details app function, same as my project name. As you can see in this pom.xml file, the SAM init has been imported the dependency for us that we will use to create our Lambda function like Lambda Java core, Lambda Java events, and JUnit for testing purposes. Okay, now we will refresh or load these Maven changes. Okay, it sync. Okay, and then we will go to the test directory, app test. We will rename this class to with rename it to user details test refactor. Okay, but because we will not use unit test right now, so we will just comment out this test function root and then comment with main comment. Okay, now to make sure that this project refactor successful, we will go to the terminal. We are in the right directory because when I use the ls command, it shows the pom.xml file. Okay, and in this directory I will run the npm clean package to build this project. Press enter. Okay, it says that the build is success, so we don't our refactoring process has been done. We don't have any issue in here, so we will proceed to the next steps. We will refactor our template.yaml file. Okay, I will minimize this terminal. Go to file and open. Choose the template.yaml file. Now, what is this file for? This file will be used by AWS to create your resources automatically. So you don't need to go to your console and create the every resources that you need by yourself. Okay, so in this template.yaml file we have AWS template format version, transform, and description. This description contains of the description of your AWS Lambda application. I will not do any change in this part. Now we have the global function. This global function will apply to all the Lambda function that use this template.yaml file. Okay, so for example, if the timeout is 20, then in your every function that you build and you describe in this template.yaml file, the timeout will use the same value for all of that function. Okay, I have the name of the function like here, hello function. I will rename it or replace it with my actual function name, that is user details add function, and then the code URI, the and then the code URI is the name of the directory of the function. I change it to user details add function. And then the handler, we will change it to our package name, com.echo.lambda.user details. This handler is the location of your Java class handler, so you must specify the package name and the class name. com.echo.lambda.user details is my package name, and my class name is, as you can see, is user details. This is the name of the method that handle the request in this class user details. We will look at it. So the name is same with the template.yaml file handle request. So we will use handle request here. Okay, the runtime is Java 11. The architecture is x86 64-bit. And the memory size, I will move this specification to my global function. Like this. Sorry. Okay, like this. And then the next one is the environment variables. We don't use the environment variables right now, so we will remove the environment variables specification from this template.yaml file. Remove it. And then events, this is the events name of your Lambda function. I will change it to user details. The type is API, so you will use the API Gateway, AWS API Gateway. Properties path, you must specify the path of your events. I will use path user details, and the method is get. This outputs will print out all that you have specified in here after the SAM build function run successful, and you deploy it with SAM deploy. Okay, so we will rename this API name with our actual API name, user details API for user details add function, and we will change the hello endpoint here with our path user details. So this basically print out your endpoint URL after you successfully deploy this Lambda function. Okay, and then we will output our function description. So we'll rename this root function with my actual function name, user detail app function, user details app function, and this is the ARN that we will use, that will display it for us. ARN stands for AWS resource name, user details app lambda function AWN root. And the IAM row, I will replace it too with my function name. User details app function. User details app function row. Okay, I think that's it. Now we will go to the user detail class, and we will remove this code because we want to use our code. This code is generated by our SAM init command that we execute before. So just remove it, and I will remove the get page content too. Now we'll replace it with our function. First thing that we will need to do is to get the request body. So we will retrieve this request body using the API Gateway proxy request event input. So input.getBody. Oops, there's a typo here. Request body. And then we will use JSON to deserialize this request body string to JSON format. For that, we will go to the Maven repository, and then type here JSON, and on the first place here, click JSON, choose the function, click on it, and it will copy it to your clipboard. Go back to your IntelliJ ID, and then go to your pom.xml file. I will paste it to my dependencies list, and then just reload the Maven. Okay, it syncs successfully. Go back to your user details class, and we will initialize this JSON. Sorry. And we will deserialize this request body to map a type of string Okay, now we will give back the response to the user. I will give the user ID, user name, and user email as a response. Now, to create the ID, I will use EUID type. So in our map, user details map, we will put the new value here. User ID, like this. So we use the UUID to create a random ID and convert it to string and put it to the new component, the new member of our user details map. And now we will create our response value. Then we will put the value like this. I will return the full name. And we will return the value that we retrieve from the user request, like this. Full name, and then user details dot get full name. I will type this with a camel case, and then response value dot put email details dot get email response value dot put user ID user details dot get user ID. Now we will initialize our API Gateway proxy response event. This will construct our response, and we will send that response to the user that requested this Lambda function. We will choose with body method. We will convert this response value to JSON format with JSON. JSON response. Oops, sorry. Response value. And then set the response code with 200. Okay, so we will using the set with status code here 200. I think I forgot to include map class like here. Okay, and then we will create the header of our response. We use the map Java map as a container for our header. Response response header new as map, and then response header dot put. I just want to set the content type header with application JSON like this, and then apply this header to our response event. Response event with headers, and then type the map response header. Then we will return this response event. Okay, return response event like this. Okay, now we have created our user details class, and we will build this class using SAM build command. I will show you right now. Okay, we have already finished writing our function code. Now it's time to test our function, and we will do it in our local machine first before we deploy it to AWS Lambda server. Okay, now if you open a file explorer like I do here, and then you go to the root directory of the folder that the SAM framework created before, it will create a folder that called events. If you open that folder, you will find the event.json file. We will open this file. Open, go to events, event.json, and then you will find the JSON file that contains element like this. Now we will send our parameter in this body. Okay, we will look at our function first. So we will send a full name and email as a parameter. Okay, let's change it in event.json. Okay, I will change the message to full name, and then I type my name here, and then I put a comma. The second parameter is email. Okay, and we will leave everything as default. We will leave everything as is, and then we will build this Lambda function. But before we build it and test it in our local machine, we must install a Docker engine in our computer. Okay, so to install the Docker engine, you can go to Google and type the install Docker. This example, this is the page that will describe how to install Docker desktop on Windows. Okay, and then install it with the steps that describe here. After you install it, you can run the Docker container like this. Okay. Now we will open the terminal in our IDE. I'm using IntelliJ here, and I click on terminal. Now I will work the directory, the current directory, and as you can see, I am in the project directory. You must back one step to the previous directory of your project. So I will type cd right here, and then if I type AWS command, I will find the template.yaml file here, template.yaml file that we have modified before. Okay, if you can find the template.yaml file in your current directory, it means that you can run the SAM build command in that directory. Okay, let's type SAM build and press enter. Oops, we have error here in our template.yaml file. I will fix it and I will back to you. So the architecture's element right here is must in the same position with runtime under the function element. So I will remove the space and the memory size too. So we have two memory size here. I will remove the one that contain 128 memory size. Okay, please make sure that this architecture value have one tab, only one tab. Okay, I think this will run fine. Okay, so I will type SAM build here. We will wait until the build process complete, and I'll back to you. Okay, as you can see that the process to build this function is completed. Build succeed. Okay, and then we will invoke this function to test the function in our local machine. So I will type the command SAM local invoke the name of the function. My function name is user details app function, so I will type it user details app function space, and then even space, and then the location of event.json. As you can see that we have list the directory of our current directory, and there is an event folder or directory here. So I will type events and then event.json. Okay, Now I press enter. So this command will invoke our function with this event.json request description, and as you can see that the status code is 200, okay, and then the response body of our function is printed here. Full name, user ID that we generate. If you can see in our event handle request function, we generate the user ID with UUID.random UUID to string function, and then it returns our email. And yes, I think our function is run correctly. And after this, we will deploy this function to the AWS. Okay, so we will deploy this function to AWS server. So we will run SAM deploy guided command. And then we need to input our SAM application name. We'll name it with user details app. AWS region, I use the default episode history. Confirm changes before deploy, no. So we don't need to confirm our changes before we deploy the function. Arrow SAM CLI AWS role creation, yes. Disable rollback, no. User details app function may not have authorized defined. Is this okay? Yes. Save argument to configuration file, yes. So we will save this configuration to a file, and the file name is samconfig.toml. SAM configuration environment, we will use the default one. It proceeds right now, uploading. Create complete. The IAM creation is complete. API Gateway, now it create the API Gateway and it's complete. Alright, the deploy is succeed. Okay, now we have the API endpoint URL right here. We will test this endpoint. We will copy it. Oh. We will copy it. And we will test it using Postman. So if you look at the event.json invoke file, we use HTTP method post to invoke our function. But here in template.yaml, I forgot to change the method to post, so that did not work as we expected. And then I will change this method to post. Okay, and after that I will build the function again, and after build the function, I will deploy it with SAM deploy. We don't need to specify this main guided again because we have do that previously. Okay, so I hit enter, SAM deploy. We will wait until the deploy is complete. Now we have deployed our changes, and now we will try it again with our Postman. We open our Postman, paste the endpoint URL, choose the post method, go to body, raw, and then choose JSON, and we will type our JSON param, full name, I type my name here, and then email, then I press send. As you can see that our Lambda function responds with full name, user ID, and or email. So this Lambda function has successfully deployed, and if you want to see the resources that our SAM framework created in AWS console, you can choose your region. I use episode is 3 here. Choose it. Then go to the API Gateway. Then I sort by the created date. Now this is our API Gateway, and as you can see, we have the post method execution here and user details using the proxy. And if you want to see the Lambda function, type Lambda here, click on it, make sure that you are in the region that you define in your Lambda function before, and then choose the Lambda function. Here our Lambda function 13 minutes ago. Click on it, and you can see the application name that we created before. Okay, I think that's it. Our Lambda function have been deployed and worked as expected. Thank you for watching.